Good morning. This is John Harder, and I have another broadcast here this morning, and we're going to approach this one a little differently. Can you bring the printout? We're going to approach this one a little differently because of what happened. I'm going to just simply say it the way I see it. And of course, I encourage all who, every person to do the same for yourself. We have all become aware, well, not nearly all of humanity is aware of it at this point, but many of us are. Many of us have known for quite a long time that in the shadows there were powerful people who were pulling strings that made life worse and worse for humanity. And of course, people who are in poverty are the ones who suffer the most. This has been that way. It's been set up that way, and their plan and their agenda is not to stop that trend anytime soon, which is why some people have come up with means that would upset that agenda and eventually bring it to an end, which many of us have now of late been involved in something that was created for that end. And if you have if you're up to date as to what is going on the blog, which I believe you know what I mean when I say the blog, then I'm going to, if you're not up to date, then I would say that you may as well update yourself so you know what I'm talking about. But the U.S. is a grounds of turmoil right now. This is known by many people because that is where the deep state that was their first objective, to bring it into entire ruins and complete lockdown, of which eventually was meant to become the global prison. But it has been hugely disrupted by many different things. At this point, mainly because of the election of the latest president, or the current president of the U.S. That's scrumptious. Okay, so, but as I said earlier in the broadcast, I'm going to say it the way I see it. And the way I see it is that an undertaking such as to end global poverty should never, ever have leaders in it. There should never be leaders. Nobody should ever be calling themselves a leader, because that is what governments look for to target. It's always leaders that get targeted. And so, unless you want to become a target, don't label yourself as a leader. Now, I know that most people, they have this idea, well, if there is no leader, then how will it ever happen? Well, we are incredibly intelligent. We are incredibly intelligent. Let's not underestimate the intelligence that we really possess. And I will say it here. Most of us have never, ever really used our intelligence. That is almost all of humanity. We have never, ever really used our intelligence. What do I mean by that? Let me explain this a little bit. We are using it every day, but we have never really tapped in intentionally, using it to build the lives that we really wanted. We have always been clouded by ideas such as, I don't know where to start. Ideas such as, I can't because of this, I can't because of that, I can't because I can't make other people do anything, I can't do. We don't have to. We don't have to. If we want to create the life that we deserve and that we want to experience, then we need to really tap into the intelligence that will make that happen. And we all have it. And it ain't gonna happen by following leaders. It ain't gonna happen by following leaders. As long as we are at the mercy of somebody else telling us what to do, we will never really tap into that power that's available to us. It would be nice if the kitchen light was off. And so that's really as simple as that is. Unless we want to stay in this position, or whatever we want to call it, where we have become chattel property, and where we've become chattel property, what they call civilization, some fancy name that is for basically, as they count us chattel property. And if you're wondering what that means, yeah, it's just a word that instead of calling us cattle, they just say it a little bit different and call it chattel. But that's what they mean by that. Yeah, we are livestock. That's what the cabal or whatever the hell these idiots want to be named, or whatever they are named. That's what the legal system labels us as. Civilization. And of course, they don't necessarily show it on the paperwork like that, but that is what we have become. And this is why they are feeding off of us as leeches with all kinds of extortion and all of these kind of things, making all kinds of ridiculous laws and regulations that practically make it impossible to operate any kind of business or even make a decent living for oneself. This is the world that we have allowed to shape up. It is up to us as humanity to take it back down. It is up to us as humanity to take it back down. But we can't be leaders. We can't do it as leaders. So if we think that we have to have leaders and follow leaders, it's not going to happen that way. We have to get beyond that. None of us are limited. We have the almighty power at our disposal to use and to allow us to become who we want to become. Let's use that power in our favor and simply tune in with it and make a decision. Make a decision that the decision of the life that we want to live and people that we want to help. But posing as leaders ain't gonna do the job. Thank you so much for watching. And again, if you aren't sure what I'm talking about, just visit the blog. It was the last post on there, unless there is a new one this morning. But I was contacted by somebody yesterday about that, and that was the first that I had become aware of it. And so in order for you to understand what's going on, what I'm talking about, then I would say just watch that video on the blog and you'll know what I mean. All right. So this is about all that I'm going to say in this broadcast, and we will hopefully see you tomorrow. And one way or another, the world has to get back into shape. One way or another, humanity deserves, we deserve to have our freedom back. We deserve it. We deserve it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.